Welcome to Anime Out of Context, a comedy review show where a man completely immersed in anime culture torments his co-host, who is only allowed to watch the shows featured here. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so at patreon.com/animeoutofcontext. Alongside over 100 hours of exclusive bonus material, all episodes uploaded to Patreon are completely ad-free, even to non-patrons. Thank you for listening, and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Anime Out of Context, the show where I attempt to explain the sometimes weird, sometimes wonderful, but always hilarious world of anime.
Is it an appropriate opener to say I'm dripping? Or does that need to be cut and us to restart?
I'm Shaun Rollins.
I'm Remington.
So, Remington.
No, hey, that's the only thing available. So gotta include that. Got it. You got it. It's
Yeah,
the
no,
law.
we gotta look, man. That's the way the podcast's starting, and if Dylan has issues, he can edit around it.
I don't know if he can because it's the format of the show.
Look, man, the man has edited us to saying some of the most homoerotic shit in the world. He can make something up for us.
But you
if he
said
really
all
needs.
of those things.
So did you, fucker.
You really had those comments about horses.
I crave slurping a good long horse sausage. And then you talking about my glorious shaft. That's something you said on the regular, huh?
Yeah, a massive shaft.
Okay, well, at least we're being honest with each other. Now that we've scared away the people who are brand new to our podcast, Remington.
You know, just hopefully this is a nice obscure anime that nobody is looking at in the first place.
Well, Rem, I've got some great news for you.
Oh, perfect. Hey, see, nobody's listening to this one anyway, so hey, it's fine.
Yeah, like, I wanted to say this is an insanely obscure anime, but it's definitely...
It's not a heavy hitter.
It's one of the weirder ones we've covered in a hot minute.
All right.
But not weird in a derogatory way, I should say.
Sure.
Because today, Remington, genuine question for you.
Genuine answer.
How much do you know about the Three Kingdoms period of China?
I played quite a bit of Dynasty Warriors growing up, Shaun.
Okay.
That is my full and complete answer.
Oh, I see.
I let that speak for itself.
You know, honestly, I can't fault you for that. But then my question for you is, do you, from your extensive time playing Dynasty Warriors, we know you know Lu Bu. You and Lu Bu have a history.
Oh yeah, of course.
But do you by chance remember, oh god, and forgive me if I mispronounce it, it's been a while. I believe it's like Zhugliang or Zhugliang?
Oh.
I can't remember. Or Zhu Kongming.
I'm gonna level with ya. Because I played them at an early age, I have these names in my head. I think it's Zhugliang, but how 8-year-old me would always pronounce it is Zhuge Liang.
Zhuge Liang. That sounds like a wrestler name.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. But I believe he's the green strategy guy. He's the green strategist for Shu.
This guy, Rem? This guy?
Yeah, I knew it.
Yeah.
Fucking nailed it.
Okay, so
my knowledge will get me far.
Yeah, no, Rem, your memory for once did not fail you. Well, Rem, he was a pretty renowned strategist from that period.
Yeah.
You know? So today, Remington, we're going to be watching an anime about him.
Okay.
Yeah. And his last name Liang he also had a second or not his last name. He had another name that was simply Kongming. Don't know if you've heard that one, but if you hear anything about him, it's either Liang or Kongming, and he was a strategist, a chancellor, and the anime we're going to be talking about is simply titled Paripi Kolme, or the English title is Ya Boy Kongming.
Okay, I don't know what to make of this yet. I don't know.
What, that title doesn't give you any clues as to what's going on?
Here's what I'm hoping.
Okay.
I'm hoping that he's been like either resurrected or just never explained it at all, but he's in the modern day and he's trying to be an influencer. And because he's a smart fella, he has all sorts of great strategies, sort of Ed from Ed, Edd n Eddy, where he's like, this is how it's going to happen. These grandiose plans and visions for how to succeed and go viral.
Okay, so Remington. That's not exactly it.
I'd be amazed if it was. If I just fucking sniped that.
By God, man, like, You didn't hit a home run, but you've at least hit a double, my guy. Because Remington, Ya Boy Kongming is about the man himself at the end of his life on his sickbed, wishing that he could be reborn into a more peaceful world. His wish comes true, and he essentially wakes up in modern day Tokyo with his memories intact and a younger body, and
kind of an inverse isekai.
Yeah. Like, it's like, you could call it an isekai in the sense that it's like from one world to another, but it is our world, so it's just time travel-y nonsense. But, it's got all the makings of isekai, essentially.
Yeah.
And, like, hey, for all we know, this could be the Kongming from Dynasty Warriors, and he's just isekai'd into our world.
See, there
We
you
don't
go.
know. We don't know. We don't know how fantastical his particular era is in the show's context. But he wakes up in this new world, and you know what he decides to do? He runs into a young performer named Eiko, and he sees that she has a lot of potential. And he's like, hey, I've got this new life. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make this woman famous as a performer. And he's using all of his strategy skills
Well, shit,
to go through the music industry and raise this person up to be a proper star.
I was in the ballpark for sure.
You like genuinely, Rem, like you got some guys home with that swing.
Yeah,
Like-
I just, I thought it would be him, but instead it's somebody else. That's the main thing.
And of course, the challenge comes from, a man from, old school China navigating a modern world with battle tactics in the music industry.
Does he have his mushu?
Pardon, Rem? Please elaborate for those who aren't in the aren't in the Dynasty Warriors fandom. Because you can't just say that without.
First, I don't think it's pronounced mushu, but that's how we pronounce it. I probably because the dragon from Mulan, honestly.
That would be my guess.
Let's see how it's actually pronounced. Muso? Oh no, mushu is way better.
I don't think you can decide that.
It rolls off the tongue. All right, so Muso, that's just your special ability. Your special attack. You briefly go Super Saiyan, do your special attack in Dynasty Warriors, and so I'm expecting him to do that at some point.
You're expecting Ya Boy Kongming to be ulting every once in a while.
Yeah, well, like after he's either been attacked a certain amount or he's done the attacking a certain amount. Yeah,
you know what I mean. And what is navigating the modern music industry if not attacking people?
See, anytime like he's insulted, his Muso bar will go a little bit up. Every time he hurts somebody's feelings, it'll go up. And by the end, I believe he had a fan in Dynasty Warriors.
He does, and he has a fan in the show too.
Perfect. It's just. What did they? I think he would like spin with it. A lot of characters, their Muso move was just spinning. It was.
Well, I mean, yeah, because
or maybe
Dynasty Warriors
maybe
is
he would flick it back and forth. That was another common one.
I mean, yeah, because it's a big AOE style attack.
Yeah,
you got lots of little guys you got to beat. You need to cover a wide area, otherwise your ultimate doesn't feel all that good.
Oh god! All right, it sounds like it could be enjoyable, but at the same time, there's one example where I also thought, oh man, historical figures coming into the modern time, and previously it was as dogs, and I was like, how fun and quirky, and it was one of the most trash, boring things you've ever had me watch, and I was like, how can you fuck that up? And then the last thing we had with historical figures was also wildly disappointing. So I'm hopeful that this will be a little bit better.
We won't know until we get into it, Rem, but a lot of people have suggested it. Came out in 2022, and people are like, hey, this is weird and silly. Give Rem something weird and silly for once, you bastard. They didn't say those exact words, but I could tell the tone in the email.
The sentiment was there.
It was very much like, hey, you did something really mean to him on these specific weeks, so you should do something really nice to him. Which it's then immediately followed up with like 3 or 4 emails being like, hey, you were too nice to him when you did this really mean thing. You should do something meaner to him and suggest something completely
always
different.
An ebb and a flow, a push and a pull.
Yeah, like I am basically a water weeb bender at this point when it comes to getting recommendations. But so I think that's all you really need to know. It's essentially just a pretty straightforward, silly concept for a silly show, with some musical flair and a nice palate cleanser from last week.
Hopefully.
So, without further ado, let's go straight into it. Let's go watch some of Ya Boy Kongming. And we are back after watching the first 5 episodes of Paripi Kome, or Ya Boy Kongming. And tell me, Remington, are you feeling as funky fresh as this anime wants you to feel?
Oh boy, baby boy, my beautiful baby boy, Shaun Rollins.
Hold on, I don't remember agreeing to this position in our dynamic.
My beautiful, my beautiful baby boy, still in diapers.
Definitely not true. In fact, I am
only
older
for special
than you.
occasions. Only for special occasions.
That is not a community I aspire to. Thank you very much, sir. The community I aspire to is unfortunately talking about anime with me mate. So what's the word, Rem? Did you have a fun time with this silly little show, or are you going to be hypercritical and ruin another fun little program?
Sure, let's jump in. So we open up with some exposition about the 3 kingdoms, right? We of course have Kongming. He is aged, he dies. He wants to be reborn into a peaceful world. He's reborn in sort of his prime in Tokyo during Halloween. It's not Tokyo, it's, I don't know. Look, it's Japanese city, so my brain is gonna say Tokyo.
God, is it possible to be racist against cities? I don't know.
Look, if you saw random American city, it's okay for you to think New York. Like, that's all right. That's fine. Especially if you're not from America, like, that's fine. That's fine.
It makes it feel better. I'm fairly certain it's a subsection of Tokyo, so you're still technically correct.
All right, cool. So he gets reborn there. He's like, oh, okay, I'm in hell, but he's kind of vibing with it. He's like, hell's kind of dope, turns out.
I mean, hell for the company, heaven for the food, or something like that. Isn't that like some kind of saying, I feel?
Sure. So some randos take him to a club and there's a concert going on. He loves the music. It may just be because it's the first like modern music he ever hears, so there's like just a lot of novelty to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I do like then imagining that he ends up just showing up in the modern day and then he listens to like fucking Maroon 5 or Meghan Trainor and is like, yeah, holy shit. This shit's transcendent. This is next level. But just because it's new and different. So he's like, oh man, this Machine Gun Kelly fella, he really has it all figured out. But because Kongming just doesn't know how to like measure more contemporary music, right?
Oh no, he's a Kid Rock fan. What are we gonna do?
So he finds a singer, Aiko. Cool. And so he's like, dope music. Approaches them, is very impressed. The next day, Aiko finds Kongming passed out just sort of in an alleyway, and takes him home with her. And he's still passed out, so I guess she just sort of deadlifts Kongming and is like, come on down. Kongming, when he comes to, he's asking a million questions. He's just, oh man, modern day technology. Which is a fun scene. Very weirdly, just about the only one of its kind. It gives you an impression you would sort of expect a little bit of a fish out of water element, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not really. Not really at all. This scene, that's the fish out of water scene. After this, he's a fucking pro at everything.
Well, I mean, he is a master strategist after all.
I don't know if that's how that works, though. I don't know.
Well, see, Rem, if you're a master strategist, then you'd understand. But unfortunately, you're just a
like
guy.
Master strategist then immediately applies to understanding everything about everything. Magnus Carlsen, he is a master strategist in the realm of chess, surely. Makes sense. But if you were like, all right, well, why not give him a go at, like, I don't know, engineering a big old skyscraper solo? I'd be like, I don't think being a master strategist is then generalizable to literally every other skill under the sun. Like, I don't know if that's necessarily how that works.
Oh, I guess we won't know until you become a master strategist, right?
Yes, we won't know. And then we will put me in a high stakes situation, right? We'll see whether I succeed, or because if it's low stakes, then I could just like fail to prove myself right?
Yeah.
We have to put lives on the line so that it's like, oh yeah, if Remington is capable of it, then he definitely will do it.
Kind of like an IRL Fire Emblem situation.
So that's really the situation where, look forward to later this year when I become a master strategist and do a real life trolley problem. It'll be great. So.
Well, as somebody who has had to do like all of the trolley problems for a pre-banter before, it's not as cracked up as you think it'd be.
So eventually it's like, hey, Kongming, you should probably get a job. He does an interview. Fortunately, he does an interview at the club that Eiko works for. And in the interview, turns out the owner is super into a Three Kingdom trivia. He loves that shit. So he's all in, accepts it, is like, fuck yeah, amazing. Then Eiko and Kongming, they bartend a little bit. She goes and sings. We get some backstory on her, on how she was suicidal but saved by the club manager, and it's like real weirdly dark.
Oh, it's just the anime out of context trademark. Really dark situation in a comedy.
It's I would argue it's a weird move. Like, I understand you could even have it sort of be like feeling without purpose, feeling a little bit listless, right? Without the active suicide attempt. That I don't know if it belongs here. It's a weird choice. It's a weird one. And at the end of the episode, Kongming is like, I'll be your tactician. I'm all in. Episode 2. First of all, this is where I really realized that what Kongming is trying to do, right? He's just trying to recreate idol culture from the ground up. Because he's like, there's certain strategies and formulas that we can make singers hit success. All right, you just have to follow these strategies, and that's really been like what idol management has been accomplishing since its inception. So
I mean, yeah. And as somebody who's seen it go really fucking poorly, it turns out it's not as easy as they claim it is.
I don't know. Watching this anime seems very easy. It seems exceptionally easy, actually.
Well, tell that to Niji Sanji, my guy.
Eiko and Kongming, they go to a concert, right? And they see Mia. There's lots of English songs and singing in this. Some better than others. Mm-hmm. Some weirder than others. As per usual for English in Japanese media, it's hit or miss. Sometimes you're like, okay, yeah, that's fun. Other times you're like, what's going on here? Other times I'm like, is this what it feels like to be hate crime?
Oh God, Rem, don't you know we can't be hate crimed? We do it to ourselves.
I'm just the butterfly meme. Is this a hate crime? So they see Mia and it's like, wow, very impressive. They meet up with her after, and Mia's like, I want to give you a chance to perform. But it's actually weird and malicious in a way that I'll be honest, it kind of doesn't make any fucking sense. But basically at this like 3-tiered club, Mia got Eiko to perform at the same time because she wanted a know nothing, just a person with no reputation at the club performing at the same time as her, so she got the bigger audience, so it was less divided. Even though I'm gonna level with you, at a club like this, it feels like that's kind of what they're used to. If that's what they're like doing all the time, it feels like it wouldn't be that big of a deal regardless. But also, just the max capacity limits. And also, are you in charge of I guess either that club owner takes Mia's word or that Mia's involved with the club owner, but in which case you're just sabotaging your own, like if you're like, hey, let's get this person in, and then they like fuck it completely, and you're like, yeah, I never even saw them perform, then the club owner would be like, all right, well, I'm never taking any recommendations from you, and I also don't trust you as a business partner anymore. It's a weird scheme. It's a weird scheme. And also,
you know what,
just
you
like,
know what the problem with it really is, Rem?
what?
She wasn't a master strategist.
Oh, I see. I would say
that
the
would
main
have fixed
problem,
everything.
it's very weird, and we'll get onto another one of these.
Yeah.
I understand that the thought is, well, we have a war strategist, so we have to make becoming a success as a singer more directly competitive and combative. Because it's like
Yes.
very indirectly so. But they're like, no, we need to make it you versus them in a measurable, tangible way every time. But it's like not quite like that. That's not how it goes. It's it's a lot more complicated, nebulous, it's softer, and also like making connections is just, and they make one connection for every like two they burn. So but making connections, if anything, it's more important. So instead of like being like, we must defeat these people, it'd be better if it's like, hey, let's connect, let's network a bit. And it makes sense that Kongming wouldn't understand these things, except he definitely does because he understands everything already by episode 2. And if anything, it could be a sort of interesting plot point, right? Where at some point, maybe the club owner who's in their squad has to be like, hey, your strategies are useful if this was a war, but you need to reconsider some elements. And that could be a fun little story beat, right? Where perhaps Kongming, he's viewing things too combatively. But they don't really care about that. They don't they don't really care. So
we just want this silly guy making silly plans to have a silly situation.
Yeah. And more or less, I think episode 2 captures what the show can look like, despite all my criticisms of episode 2. What it can look like at its peak, because for the performance, all right, Kongming needs to figure something out because everyone's going to see Mia, nobody's seeing Eiko. And they referenced the fabled like stone labyrinth previously getting lost amidst a stone labyrinth, and so they sort of replicate it in the modern day, trapping people onto Eiko's floor. It's silly and nonsensical, but it parallels one of the fabled stratagems, so that's fun time, right? That's enjoyable, and it works, and it's packed floor, and Mia's pissed, but Eiko wins. Ta-da! And it's nice to see it like caring about. I wrote down it's rare to see something actually care about its unique premise, because the vast majority of the time you'll get a show that has a unique fun premise, right? And then will relatively quickly abandon it or realize that it isn't able to do it justice. But in this case, it's like, hey, they clearly know about the Three Kingdoms, right? They know enough about the music side of things and the culture of that, a passable amount, even if some elements are very, very silly. And so it's nice to be able to fulfill the promise. So I wrote that note down, and then I watched the other 3 episodes.
I see.
Unfortunately, I'm pretty sure the show peaked at episode 2, which is disappointing, because really that's all you needed to do, right, is slowly help her work her way up with some simple shenanigans, all while taking a famous stratagem used by Kongming, or even like, hey, have him steal some stuff from some others, like Sima Yi, right? Why not? Why not? That's on the table. Be like, hey, these were things used against me, even. But now I can learn. And just have him use those. And unfortunately, in the following 3 episodes, we don't really get that. They decide they want to rush through Eiko's growth like a motherfucker. They're like, no, we're going to Kongming is now the greatest of all time. He can do no wrong. He understands modern society perfectly. And with his strategies that will work 100% of the time, everything will succeed super easily and at an insanely rapid pace, which ends up feeling artificial, forced, and also stupid. It's not great. And then it's like, okay, and what strategy are we going to use next time? It's like, oh, create something from nothing. And it's like, oh, okay, I thought we were going to do more like stuff previously where it's like, oh, remember the Stone Labyrinth story, and create something from nothing. Okay, how are you adapting that strategy? We're gonna be loud and late for our next concert. Trust me, it'll be amazing. And then I guess it just is, but it kind of doesn't make any sense. That's like the first strategy. It's silly, but it has an internal logic, right? That I can accept, and it's like creative enough that it's like it's fun, even if it's a bit silly. Then already by the second strategy, it's like, oh, is that it? That one, it's just stupid and not even interesting. So kind of what are we? You can't fall off that hard by the second strategy. You can't. How did you only have one in the chamber? The book is the 36 stratagems, my guy. Like, I don't understand. I don't know what happened, Shaun.
Maybe you'll find out once you become that strategist, Rem.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, it just gets kind of disappointing. Episode 4, they meet with a big major producer and they're offered a gig, but if they accept the gig, then they actually need to get 100,000 likes for the right to appear, and only one person has ever succeeded, which doesn't make any sense. Have you only do you have the gig every year, and just like most years you don't have any performers? Like, what are you talking about? What do you mean?
It's a very exclusive gig, Rem.
What do you mean? The only one has succeeded. It doesn't. Why not make it like at least say that it's a contest? You need to get the most. And I know like a tangible number is fun, but a contest would make way more fucking sense. But then also, why are you like offering it as a gig, being like you must accept the gig now, even though you may not get it? What kind of business are you trying to fucking run? But this makes Kongming be like, hey, we need a rapper. That's what we need to get these 100K likes. And then we get to like episode 5 where there's a lot of weird, like, quote unquote freestyle rapping going on. I'm in love with you. It's not great. It's not. It's
a little hard to write good freestyle, isn't it?
it's very 90s educational block rap. Right? Where very like, oh, I'm Shaun Rollins, I came here to say I'm a meme in a major way, right? Like
first
that
of all,
energy it gives.
How fucking dare you drag me into this? You fucking monster.
Oh, and I will acknowledge, apparently episode 6 is the actual rap episode, so maybe it gets better. But it's also weird because it's like they're Kongming apparently looking for he scouts out and he finds a really talented freestyle and battle rapper, both of which aren't, I think, the skills that he's necessarily looking for, because being a great freestyle rapper, right, or a battle rapper, what you want is more of a production rapper, right? You want someone who can create some dope tracks, perform in concert, especially like with songs, work to produce music with Eiko. That's what you want. And like freestyle and battle rapping, those are like using the skills of rapping that are furthest away from producing music with rap.
So you're looking for like a Kendrick Lamar type of situation.
I mean, yeah. Like you want a Kendrick rather than a Harry Mack. Harry Mack, wildly talented, right? Insanely, one of the most talented rappers of this generation. He's not what you'd be looking for, though. If you're like, we need to pair somebody up with this singer to help take them to the next level. That's just not. There's separate domains, related domains, separate domains. But we meet Kabe, who's shy, nervous. Look, it's L from Death Note if he became a battle rapper, all right? And
which, let's be honest, Rem, that sounds kind of great. That's pretty good.
And he's just a sad boy, and Kongming wants to get him to start rapping again, and whatnot. Once again, everything is just going so fast, and it just feels like if we took a more deliberate pace with it, right? We had a bit more fun with the strategies, because they really does feel like kind of a slam dunk where every episode, right? You take one main strategy and you find a silly way to use it in the real world. Most time to help Eiko with her singing career, but other times it can just be for like silly nonsense, and that can be enjoyable. That can be fun in and of itself. So you just focus on that. That also, you might think, oh, but that's a bit limiting. It's not, because there's lots of different strategies to choose from. Remember, I think it would be totally valid for Kongming to be like, see me, ye fucking boomed me with this one, but I've learned from it. So that provides even more options at your disposal. And then you choose just what silly way do you adapt it this week. And all the while your Eiko is progressing as a singer, just not at the lightning pace, because at the current pace, she becomes Taylor Swift by episode 10, which is something. But I don't know if that feels like believable.
I can definitely confirm that does not happen. They're still very much not a global phenomenon by episode 10, and don't have the kinds of fans that scare me.
I mean, sure, and so that means the trajectory slows down, but if anything, you'd want it to start slower, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you having it already be like, oh yeah, at these huge gigs or against more established people, you're dominating them every time. It's like, oh, okay, Christ. Jesus fucking hell, dude. For a lot of people, that is immense success. That is already way more success than the vast majority of people will ever get. And you got it by like fucking episode 3. So I understand there's still plenty of room to grow, but I feel like getting to this point, getting to the point they already are, that would be, just say, like, do that much in a season, and it would be like, oh yeah, what a meaningful journey. As opposed to now where it's like, all right, checked it off, moving on. And it just kind of feels like it matters less. There's also, I really hope they don't pursue it, but there's a couple moments of possible implied romance between Kongming and Eiko. Very light, just sort of like foreshadowing. But then also like Eiko identity and description being an obvious homage to Kongming's wife. I'm concerned because they shouldn't get together, because she's like, I don't know, 21 and he is like 100.
Yeah.
Because he still has all the same memories of when he was an ancient cunt. So every time they have him like blush or something like that, I'm like, don't do that. Don't do it. And I don't know if they will, but I'm worried. Overall, I think this is a fairly enjoyable show, but it did peak at episode 2. Episodes 1 and 2 were the most interesting, and episodes 3, 4, and 5 got, like, way more generic very fast, which astonished me, because once again, in episode 2, I was taking notes, being like, hey, nice to see something live up to its premise and know what it's doing with it. Hell yeah. And then it kind of, like, bungled that, and is like, well, but maybe we're more of a basic bitch than you anticipated. And it's like, oh, no, don't do that. That's sad.
Well, Rem, in fairness, the reason I chose 5 episodes for this was because since it's only a 1-season show currently, plus a movie, I just figured getting the most out of it for now, and then if people have a strong enough desire for us to revisit it so you can find out these answers to your questions, that would be the most desirable outcome. I genuinely chose the episode count from a pragmatic perspective.
Yeah. I look, I don't think this is a bad show. Technically speaking, it's above average by anime standards. I think most people will really vibe with it. I'm just disappointed that it was like, hey, look how much we're gonna commit, and then it went basic and lazy so fast and so strong. That makes me a sad boy. It's one thing if like I see Attack on Titan be basic and lazy, because I'm like, well, yeah, of course.
Ooh, it's been a while since we've gotten a dig at Attack on Titan. I've missed it.
But something, that's probably not fair because Attack on Titan also has a similar thing of like, the premise is real neat. So that was an unfair dig at Attack on Titan.
The first episode of Attack on Titan was really good.
I need to take something, I guess, that's basic with its premise and also disappointing. But I tend to forget all of those anime's names. So
yeah. I mean, if you can think of a name that exact description follows, please let us know because I'm sure the engagement will be helpful.
Yeah, well, let's see. What's like? I'm looking at previous episodes, and the problem is
they all blend together.
Any that I remember, I'm like, oh yeah, that was a bit unique. And then I'm looking at so many, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck that is.
Do you want me to give you an example, Remington? Do you want me to give you an example so it's not as hard for you?
Yeah, I've looked at genuinely dozens of episode titles, and I cannot for the life of me parse any of the generic ones. So yeah, just give an example of one with a generic premise that was lazy and bad.
Okay, generic premise that was lazy and bad. Just scrolling through this. Well, I mean, you've said that about a lot of these.
Sure.
Oh god, no, King's Game had a simple premise but was horrendously awful. That's kind of like the extreme in the opposite direction.
Yeah, but we can take. Yeah, we'll take it.
Yeah.
But that it's like you don't have high expectations of it from the get go. Right.
Yeah, I mean, it's an awful like death game scenario with bad character decisions.
So when it shits the bed, you're like, yeah. But for something like this, I'm not saying that your boy Kongming totally shit the bed. It's just like
you didn't get everything you want.
You started so strong. Why did you started so strong? And it's such a simple slam dunk premise, right? Where you're just like, let's bring in notable ancient stratagems and modernize them and have some fun with them. And there we go. And so why turn it into the same kind of like idle rise up story that we've already seen? But now you'll have Kongming and people will be like, oh, you dress weird anyway. And that's literally as far as it goes. The people will just be like, and usually the person saying that is Eiko. Most other people don't really care. And it's like, he already understands everything in the public era. Really, by episode 5, it's like, kind of what's the point of him being Kongming? Like, you've lost most of that. He'll just occasionally, at this point, him and the club owner are the same because they're just both guys who will bring up the Three Kingdoms. Like, that's really all it is.
I see. Well, I will say, there's definitely a lot more Kongming stuff as the show goes on. Whether or not it's up to your standards of Kongming is the question. But out of curiosity, Rem, what do you think the weebs think about this show?
Oh, I think they fucking love it. I think that this the show looks nice. It has fine music, fine to good music. Like some of it's good. A lot of it is it's just kind of whatever. It has a unique premise which the weebs like, and then it becomes familiar, which the weebs love. The weebs love nothing more than a bait and switch, right? Because then they can sell it to their friends while also not having to experience anything that's uncomfortably novel.
Man, I think that's the most insulting thing you've said in weeks.
And yet I think I have like, I just hit a psychological bullseye on so much of weeb culture. They want unique premises just so they can sell it to their friends easier, but they don't actually meaningfully care if those unique premises are fulfilled.
Jesus Christ, Remington.
I think it's gonna, how high do I think? Because I think it's gonna be quite high. I think, is this the only series, it's like season of it?
One season and a movie.
Okay, interesting.
Yep. Came out in 2022, and the little movie episode came out in 2024.
I would have guessed like 2 seasons for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if I remember correctly, the comic it's based off of has like 100-something chapters currently, and it's been going since 2019. So
I'm gonna say I think think it might break the 8 barrier a little bit. I'd be more confident if it was like a currently airing thing, because then people would be jizzing their jorts for it, you know?
Yeah, no. We're 2 years late to this one. We have gotten a lot of recommendations for it, though.
So we'll bring it down a little bit, but still, I think quite high. I'll say 8.05.
8.05. Is that your final answer, sir?
Yeah.
All right. Well, the first season of Ya Boy Kongming, or Paripi Kolme, depending on your preference. It has 154,000 ratings on it currently, and it's sitting nice and pretty at an 8.11, actually.
Okay, all right. I was in the ballpark.
Yeah, no, you're really, really close. And generally speaking, the overall feel of the show is, hey man, this is really good, and it doesn't fully do what a lot of shows' premises do and abandon everything. Though, from what you've seen of the first half, there's not as much Kongming as you would have appreciated. But generally speaking, everybody has been really satisfied with this show. Like, a lot of the negative reviews are, like, people who are weirdly critical of stories about the Three Kingdoms, which... it reads to me as people who don't fully understand it. And then there are some people, and then some of the other negative reviews are much like you saying, hey, there's not enough of the Three Kingdoms stuff.
Well, and it's not that I don't think there's enough of the Three Kingdoms stuff. It's just that most of the Three Kingdoms stuff is very much, let's share some
surface
fun trivia.
level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's enough. I just want what's there to be a little bit deeper, right? Which, in like episode 2, it did fucking great. In episode 2, it was spot on. It's just that, after that, it fell off hard.
Well, hey, maybe if there's enough call for it, we'll come back and finish off the first season. And you'll only have to watch 7 episodes of it. Ain't that nice? Ain't I a nice guy doing that for you? Man, I'm such a nice guy. But yeah, by and large, a lot of people really enjoy the show, and they have been asking for your opinion on it for quite a while. So hopefully, this is satisfactory, and if not, we can always come back. But personally, I enjoy the show. I think it's a good, silly, fun time. Man, is the music very laughable sometimes, but that's kind of why I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like, some of the really cringe, like, English rapping just really gets to me. It's
and
very
I mean,
good.
I will say props to the translation team who have translated it to rhyme.
Yes.
Which is impressive, but does also then support my feelings about it.
So says the white man. Well, I think with that in mind, I guess the final question I have to ask you, Rem, is there any chance you'd like to watch a little bit more Kongming with me sometime, Rem?
I would need a vouch. Not in and of itself, but with a vouch, I could be convinced.
So somebody other than me that you respect being like, yeah, no, give it a watch.
Yeah, I do like how your question does assume that I respect you. I'm not saying it's wrong. I just, I thought it was cute.
Well, I didn't have enough of low self-confidence after I got some of the message from last week. But
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just identifying it as presumptuous.
Well,
maybe you presume correctly.
Keep an eye out on the obits, folks. So I suppose with that in mind, thank you all so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. If you enjoy Remington living his glory days of battling the fields with Lubu, then please head on over wherever you get your podcasts and leave us a review. They mean the world to us, and we do read every single one. And if that is not enough for you, twitch.tv/anime out of context, where myself, Dylan, and Remington occasionally play video games very poorly. I am nearly done with Final Fantasy II, I think. Granted, I don't fully know, but it feels like I'm coming to a head in the story, which is nice.
Shaun actually only just passed the halfway mark. He has well over a dozen hours of content left, depending on how hard he struggles with some of the bosses, of course.
And if that is still not enough for you, patreon.com/anime out of context, where you can access all kinds of lovely bonus material, including the opportunity to be thanked live on the podcast. So, Rem, who we thanking this week?
Well, first, Shaun, I just want you to know, I will always be the Lubu to your red hair, all right? My beautiful ginger baby, who I ride all day and all night. Anyway, moving on, we get into battle.
I don't know how I feel about being called a horse. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to parse that.
riding my horse-dicked steed.
I guess that's a compliment.
See?
I
See?
don't know. We'll see if that gets me a date in the future.
Just search on Grinder for ginger horsecock, and that's Shaun.
I cannot emphasize enough that is not the case, and be fucking careful with dating apps. My God, do I understand why you gotta be careful with dating apps. Also, apparently, if you mention that you don't like Attack on Titan on dating apps, people will match with you just to yell at you, which is very funny.
Oh man! All right, on the picture list, we would of course like to set our 12 of our bland bitch protagonists as well as our magical girls, who we really appreciate. But moving on, we get to our yandere waifus, who are telling us that fighting Lubu is totally possible. Hey, look at your stats. You can do it this time. It'll be easy. You're so over-leveled. And on that list, we have Yandere and Echo, Wolfire 56, West Kane, Shaun is sabotaging the only month we got, week 16 of using my Patreon name
It wasn't, damn it!
to request code keys, watching Requiem for Spoon at 0.5 speed, Titan CNH, the Susanator, the sperm cell reaching for Shaun's unbreakable egg, the Opie Wrangler, formerly known as Mommy Milkers, the Danish Viking will conquer the world with Rona Zoro as my navigator, that time I reincarnated as a podcast host and forced to weeb, Turban, Swaraj Verdi, Super Zoo, Stacy's mom, Shaun once gives Spoon Man a thank and yang, Shaun's desire for the Pope's chocolate starfish, Shaun ruined my happy sugar life when he started gushing all over his Oval Office Stocky Makara, hashtag Shaun 2028. Shaun's hair apparent. Shaun, what is the address again so I can send you that MAGA hat you keep asking me for? Hashtag Red Pill Rollins.
God, look, if I do tragically die in the near future, it's gonna be, people are gonna feel so fucking bad.
No, don't worry. I will make sure you get married with a MAGA hat.
I will haunt you till the rest of my fucking days.
See, and that's how I guarantee it, right? You'll have unfinished business, so you'll keep haunting me, and then we can keep spending time together. Oh, you think when you die you're gonna haunt me? Nah, bitch. When you die, I'm gonna haunt you.
I didn't realize you were so dependent on me, right?
Because your undead, ghostly ass is gonna be trapped with me.
Christ.
Shaun the Red Pill Rollins sits quietly in the cuck chair while watching Rem gets bukkakied like he requested. Shaun soaked the Pope to death while Rem watched. Shaun quit something with my grandma, please. Seraphim the Shark plushie, Ryan Moody, Ross Palmer, Rhiannon Williams, Remington is right. Remind me when do we record again. Rem uses the drums of liberation to free all weeps from bad anime. Rem doesn't completely hate my favorite shows. Red Pill Rollins in the Omegaverse cuck chair, moan. Red Venom, Red Pill Rollins thinks Love Stage is a great show because, quote, it's all they deserve.
What the fuck? Come on, damn it!
Professor Fox, PJSK Attic confirms that Red Pill Rollins is our from QAnon and 100% believes JFK Jr. is alive. Alien Stage Week 8. Omega Shaun Milk, now official drink of Goonfest. Off to brush Teddy Demons for the Selkie. Never letting Rem forget about his vampire past. Meridic. Miska got to the anime cafe late and all they had left was Don DeLion green salad. Mikeka 7 Hairto. Macaroni Cheesehaw. Lucky Stars the King of Moe. Link Joe Girl. The Nerd 98. King Rich Rock. Cassidy. Jax. Jam Hands. If you think about it, Rem's the bottom of this duo. I'm making Rem call Shaun ethnic slurs until you bring back Chef No Musco tier. Shaun, you white trash.
I mean, that's just Dylan. Like that, I can't even like stake claim to that. I came from a very like nice middle class family.
Yeah, you're the least white trash of all of us.
Yeah, like that. I don't want to assign any labels to myself that just are inaccurate. You know, that'd be culturally insensitive of me.
My direct family wasn't raised white trash, but it's like it was a very deliberate, like, oh, unlike a lot of the rest of the family, we're not going to be white trash. And let me tell you, didn't work out as nicely as you'd think.
No. As someone who's met your family.
Yeah.
Nah, dog.
But hey, you know, a lot of my family, both white trash and not, is great. A lot of the others. I will never.
It's okay. They don't listen to our show. They won't know.
Hey, one occasionally does. Thanks, Mom.
Yeah.
She's the best of them. Easy.
I mean, yeah, no, like that's no contest. Like she genuinely financially supported us for a hot minute, which was very
Which is
nice
wild
of her.
and wildly unnecessary. Thanks,
Yeah.
Mom. I will never get more Ace of the Diamond. Now I cry. I took a wrong turn. Do you know the way? I can't believe I made me count for this. Hoffner 1962. Hit point. George Edward Bottom, aka Bear Trap, still vacationing. Rem, can you add more lore to the GE Bottom character? Yes, I of course I can. And it
Now that Pride Month is over.
Yeah, you know, hey, look, Shaun, you can't just box these things into Pride Month.
Well, I know, I don't, but people accuse me of doing so, you know, why not?
So, George Edward Bottom, fun fact about him, he was, sort of in his notes, right? He actually was the first one to find a rhyme for orange, but it was lost to time. So...
the lost rhyme of Alexandria, essentially.
Yes. Gordon Ramsay's raw sausage, God, Glenn Michael Dolan, Fern the Fern. Farmer Weep thinks Dylan Jeebus Farmer Weeb, how could you? I don't know if we can say that. Fantide, Erica McCoracle, Danielle Riot, Daddy Rem, tell me a bedtime story about Shaun Snutt, Caldarius, Cheese Monkey, Rock Hard for Geodudes, Shaun, that was awful, we are revoking your ally status, Boring Siren, Blarf, Bento Kato, Amazing Muffin, Alucard, Aisha Gucci, a moe piece of trash. And now we move on to the Boy Wizard tier. What are they going to get this week, Shaun?
My tears, apparently, because I can never do anything right.
Joke's on you, Shaun. They're revoking your ally status because they're actually going to force femme your ass and bring you into the community more.
Oh, I see. They're using the dark magics against me. That's what's happening.
Yeah, it's like, no, all right, Shaun, he can't be an ally. He needs to be in it.
And there are two main paths you can go by, so take your pick. Okay, all right. Okay, what they're gonna get this week is, I mean, I feel like it's pretty obvious. And a cop-out, but that's what I'm going with. They're going to get characters from Dynasty Warriors.
Hell yeah. All right, on this list we have your friendly neighborhood Kami.
They get Lu Bu.
Umbrasite.
They can have Kongming.
Raccoon Operator number 42.
You know, I chose this and then I realized, fuck, I gotta pronounce a bunch of Chinese names that I don't fully remember.
That's fine. Hey, I literally opened the pod talking about fucking Mushu and all that shit, so you're fine.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. I do suppose that's true. Okay. Well, then in that case, fuck. Cow? Shao? No, it's gotta be, it's CAO.
You can't just spell it, you son of a bitch.
Well, look, it's either like, from my limited understanding of Chinese pronunciation, it would be Cao or Chow. And I actually,
well, because I did take 1 year of really bad Chinese in junior high. This is true fact.
Okay.
It might be Cao.
Let's go with that. Cao. And if we're wrong, I'm sure people will tell us. They love to do that.
I do need to emphasize, it was not a good course, unfortunately. It was real. We genuinely, I don't know what the fuck we were doing most of the time because it wasn't learning. We learned how to break into that class because even when it was locked, there was a trick with the door where you could just get in. And one day the teacher didn't show up, right?
Oh.
Just because like it was A days and B days and it got sort of jumbled and I guess they just didn't notify the teacher.
Sao. That sounds. I feel like you're right with that though. Like I feel like it would be like a pronunciation.
So we broke into the classroom, turned on the TV and started watching, and we were very rowdy. And so eventually the neighboring teacher showed up and was like, what the fuck's going on?
Very nice.
Good times. Also in that class, a girl took the trash can, which was very stereotypical silver trash can.
Yeah.
Dumped it on a kid and plopped it onto his head. It was
that is some old school Stephen King 90s bullying.
I cannot emphasize how wild Chinese class in 7th grade was. All right, it was fucking bonkers. It was, for some reason, all the worst kids chose Chinese. I think because all of them chose it as a meme, but then all of them like ended up there was like, oh, I actually have to spend time here. It was kind of fucked, honestly.
That's unfortunate.
There were also plenty of racist kids being actively racist to the teacher. It wasn't like little fucking teenagers. They're little demons, Shaun. They're little
I mean,
fucking demons.
especially 13-year-olds, man.
Yeah.
I taught 11 and 12-year-olds for like 3 summers. I get it.
Oh man. Next we go on to Titero asks that you just give some affirming words. You got this.
Sao P.
That mouse girl.
Sao Ren.
Thanks to another patron, Allfather now has to have burgers and tsunderes for the 4th.
Da Ji.
Spoon and the Aristocrat.
Da Xiao.
I will no, if you don't end up giving somebody who my pick was for Dynasty Warriors, then I will feel personally attacked. Silent
Mike,
Secondary.
Rem, do you know how many fucking characters are in
Oh,
this
sure.
series?
I'm just making a note of it. Silent Secondary.
Okay, Deng Ai.
Sammy K is here to remind you that you just lost the game.
Diao Chan.
Roscop.
Dong Zhuo.
Rem still needs to watch Bandori It's Maiko and Ave Muchika, or else Kasumi will keep singing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Fuji.
Pride may be over now, back to Fate.
Gon Ning.
Power Cell patiently waits for the Anime Out of Context episode when Shaun and Rem goes out on a date to watch some fantasy super cosplay wrestling.
Guan Ping.
One Piece is the best anime, prove me wrong.
Guan Suo.
Nurikaza, #SONR, soaking one Nut Rollins.
Guan Yu.
Monogatari is everything you ever said you want in anime. This week, in terms of checkboxes, it is 5 times better than Love Stage.
That's not as much as you'd think. Guo Huai.
Mike.
Hua Jian.
Miguel DeLeon.
Huang Gai.
Lieutenant Beagle wants One Piece live action on episode 400.
Huang Zhong.
I'd like to start a petition to replace the word brat with kudere.
Jia Zhu.
Hidden Otaku.
Zhang Wei.
Dom and I, not drunk this time, watch Trigun because it's fun.
Kanetsugu Naoe.
D.
Lian Qi.
Carver 271.
Ling Tong.
Beethoven 1201.
Liu Bei.
And that's it for the Boy Wizards. Then we move on to the inappropriate Joey Wheeler tier. I will note, Shaun, you never got my main.
Which was?
See, when I started playing Dynasty Warriors at a very young age, it honestly was a very easy answer. First, it wasn't going to be anyone from Wu because my brother chose Wu. So that was his faction. So
Okay.
I didn't even look at them. So it was between Shu and Wei. And and so I see a motherfucker who looks like a fucking pirate with the biggest sword you've ever seen in your fucking life, right? A little child, little like fucking 6-year-old Remington is like, he has the biggest sword. He's gonna win. How can he lose?
When he has the biggest sword.
When he has the biggest sword and he looks cool with an eye patch. So Shahudun, that's my boy, baby. That's my boy.
Okay, in fairness, I was going alphabetically, except for the first 2. So,
now we move on to the inappropriate Joey Wheeler tier, where Shaun will give a name for a super secret tactical stratagem that you're going to implement into your life, and I will tell you what that stratagem means. On that list, we have What Better Way to End Pride Month than with the independence of the gayest country? Long live American ideals. Down with the government.
I mean, yeah. Okay. Let's go with your strategy will be man, do I give a real strategy or do I just string some words together and hope that something funny comes of it? Decisions. Okay, your strategy is gonna be the old grab and twist.
the old grab and twist. Yeah, so obviously how you gotta implement this strategy in your life, right, is that you are going to grab those you hold dear, twist their fucking necks, kill them. It's killing your darlings, but for actual life, all right? Ask yourself, who in your life is actually valuable to you? Who, look, all right? You got the Mary Kondo, oh, does this spark joy? We do that in our homes with our objects, but we need to start doing that with our friends, all right? Does this person spark joy? If not, out with them, violently. Next we got Shaun, having sex on a regular basis helps keeps your memory alive. Happy 2016.
I don't know how to interpret that last part. 2016 was a real fucking bad year for me. And most people in this country. Let's see. Your strategy is gonna be simply titled The Sneaky Sunrise?
The sneaky sunrise. So, so you're familiar with mooning.
Yeah.
So, first you're gonna bleach your asshole.
Okay.
to turn that into a sunrise. Then you know the game where you try to make them look at your hand, right?
Yeah.
You're playing that game, except you're trying to get your friends to look at your bleached asshole. Be careful, they're gonna be trying to do the same thing. They will also bleach their assholes and try to get you to look. And so you'll be like, shit, just looked at my buddy's bleached asshole, I lose. So you gotta be clever about it, right? You have to have the sneakiest sunrise. Next.
You ever have regrets, Remington?
Last but not least, we have follow anime out of context on Blue Sky. If Omega vs. Shaun was milked, then would the milk be high in protein? Ubauk. Of course it would.
Jesus Christ. Okay, your strategy is gonna be the classic one of the early mouse gets the worm.
Yeah, and with the early mouse gets the worm, with that actually, no, I don't think I can say that. I don't think I can.
Well, that's rare for Rem to backpedal. Interesting.
I was gonna implicate somebody who didn't ask to be implicated.
Fair enough.
You know what? I'll do that, but in a much better way than where I was initially gonna go. This is a strategy that means you're gonna take the patron, that mouse girl, and you're gonna help them accomplish their goals. You're gonna become their Kongming.
The moral of this episode, of course, is become a master strategist and you'll understand everything.
Thank you all for tuning in. If you want to reach out for a comment, question, feedback, or recommendation, you can send an email over onto animeoutofcontext@gmail.com.
Once again, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. We love and appreciate you very, very much. And as always, don't fuck your sister.
So, first you're gonna bleach your asshole.